Hello everyone, this is Al Red Sox Fan coming to you from Al Red Sox Fan YouTube channel. Hope all is well. And we're going to have a fun little project, a quick replay, a quick sim of the 2019 season with Tom Brady as a Tampa Bay Buck and Winston, Jameis Winston, a New England Patriot. We have made the trade, and we're going to use 2nd and 10 football. And all we're going to do is we're going to quick sim the games. And let's see who turns out better. Let's see. Will the Lord Sith Bill Belichick be able to mold Jameis Winston into a winning machine? Or will he be the interception machine that he was down in Tampa? Or will TB12 Tom Terrific lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the promised land? Replay of the 2019 season using 2nd and 10 football up next on the channel. And again, we're just going to auto-play the games and look at the stats. So, let's get started week 1, 2019. And let's auto-play the Packers and the Bears. And the Green Bay Packers, unfortunately for Sportsman Z, defeat the Chicago Bears 29-19. Now on to Detroit and Arizona. And Arizona with a 31-33 victory there in week 1. Now the Rams and the Carolina Panthers. And the Panthers defeat the Rams 26-20. And now this is the Cleveland Browns for our good friend Dog. Let's see if Cleveland can beat the Tennessee Titans. And they do, 26-24. As Randy Luxembourg says, awesome sauce. Go Bucks. We're going to find out how TB12 would have done with the Bucks last year. Again, this is last year. All right, let's see how the Giants. Can the Giants win week 1 against the Cowboys? Probably not. Nope, 44-34. Dak Prescott threw for 384, 3 touchdowns, 144 quarterback rating, rushed for 21 yards. Now the Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kansas City hangs on to defeat, or comes back actually, 35-31. I don't know how those points were scored. We can check. We're not going to check that. Mahomes threw for 310. Quarterback rating 104. Now the Colts and the Chargers. And the Chargers defeat the Colts 33-12. Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens 35-14. Clinton Parks, how you doing? Sportsman Z. I'm sorry, Bob. The Bears lost. Again, we're just going to auto-sim and talk with the chat a bit. I haven't done this in a while. I thought this would be a fun little project. Wait till you see the first matchup. I was so tempted to play the game, but I'm not going to. I'll do that offline. So Atlanta and Minnesota. Minnesota 43-21. Atlanta was a horrible road team last year. Buffalo and the Jets. I believe Buffalo won their opening game. Buffalo obviously had a good year. And the Jets pull it off, 16-13. Washington, Philly. And Washington crushes the Eagles, 30-3. That's our first. That's our first real. 33-12, 35-14. All right. The hapless Cincinnati Bengals versus the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle wins 24-18, and we'll leave. Obviously, San Francisco and Tampa Bay. Garoppolo versus Tom Terrific. What a matchup there. And they have New England and Pittsburgh. So we'll leave those two last. Saints and the Texans. Saints win 28-7. And now the Raiders and the Broncos. And the Raiders win that. All right. So we will auto-sim. We will auto-sim the Patriots game. Jameis Winston is their starting quarterback. We just swapped quarterbacks. We swapped Jameis Winston for Tom Brady. We're using 2nd and 10 football. It was surprisingly very easy. So we could have a lot of fun just swapping players all over the place throughout this time and just see what happens. I'd like to say hello to Randy Luxembourg, Sportsman Z, and Clinton Parks. Check out Sportsman Z's wonderful channel. Also check out Clinton Parks. He has some really nice baseball games up. All right, here come the Patriots. And the Patriots lose opening day 37-30. Let's see what Jameis Winston. So the Patriots, who won on opening, I'm pretty sure they won on opening day. Did they win on opening? We'd have to check that out. I don't even remember. Yes, they did. They did win on opening day because they started off hot as a pistol. So let's see what Jameis Winston did. Winston threw for 287 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. So he didn't do horrible, but he throws 2 picks there. Edelman likes his new quarterback. 7 receptions, 85 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So Jameis Winston threw 3 touchdowns to Julian Edelman. How quickly he's forgot about Tom Brady. And did we ever have the lead? Let's just see. Oh, wow. New England tied it up with 2:03 left in the game. A 15-yard touchdown pass from Winston to Edelman. But Nelson fumble recovery in the end zone. Wow! So New England must have had the ball back and they fumbled. Let's go with play-by-play. Let's see what happened there. That's an interesting. Again, a lot of cool things you can do at 2nd and 10. They don't have the animation, but my God, it's a wonderful game. What happened there? What happened? Boswell kicks a 65 yards to the end zone, touchback. Incomplete. Oh, here it is. Recovered by Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston sacked, fumbled, recovered by Winston. Oh my God, they snapped the ball over the punter's head. What a way to lose the game. So they lose the game on special teams. Wow. So snapped overhead of Jake Bailey, recovered by Steve Nelson, Pittsburgh, in the end zone, touchdown. So that's how the Patriots lose on opening day after Jameis Winston ties the game up. And then they have one last hurrah, and then the Pittsburgh kneels on the ball. So that was a wild game. All right, let's close that. So the Patriots lose on opening day. Jameis Winston was not too bad. Sports Time Machine, how you doing? Hope all is well. Elin Olaf, hope all is well. He's starting his new channel. Please check that out. All right, now let's see if Tom Brady wins with the Bucs on opening day against who, you say? We'll just show you. Jimmy Garoppolo versus Tom Brady. Opening day, Tampa Bay, San Francisco. Let's close that out and auto-sim it. I was almost going to do a 3-way trade with Jimmy Garoppolo going back to New England, Winston going to San Francisco, and obviously Tom Brady going to Tampa. So here we go. Opening day, TB12 as a Buck 2019 replay. And the Buccaneers, behind Tom Brady in a low-scoring affair, win 16-13. Let's go to the box score. Garoppolo, 24-40, 285, a touchdown and a pick. Brady, 19 for 35, 220 yards and a touchdown, but no interceptions. That's what Winston Jameson, he threw a lot of picks last year, a plethora of picks. So Brady's first touchdown pass as a Buck went to, I believe that's Sean Miller. Or Miller. It's Miller time. So the Bucs win. The Bucs win. The Bucs win. So Brady manages the game and they win 16-13. And that's what people say. Brady's going to go down there, help manage the game. He's not going to make the mistakes like Winston did. Excuse me. Again, 220. So Brady threw for 220. You can see, we'll go back real quick. Winston threw for a ton more yards. 287. 3 touchdowns, but there's those 2 picks there. All right, so that's week 1. Tampa Bay 1-0 to the joy of Dave Gardner as he says, go Bucks. Check out that wonderful channel. He just had a wonderful chat with Uncle Ron. And they go every night for about an hour, hour and a half. So the Bucks win. The Bucks win. The Bucks win. So Tampa Bay wins 16-13. If you're just joining us, we traded Jameis, I cannot say his first name, Jameis Winston, the Tampa Bay quarterback, to New England for Tom Brady. We're replaying the 2019 season. Tom Brady just beat his protege, Jimmy Garoppolo, 16-13. So Brady manages the game well, and the Bucks are 1-0. We now move to week 2. And Tampa Bay has Carolina. And New England, where's New England? Has Miami. All right, again, we'll keep those 2 games for the end. Arizona at Baltimore. Baltimore, they're 2-0. They win 38-20. Cincinnati, San Francisco traveling to the Bengals. Will they even up their record? And they do. They crush Cincinnati 35-3. Let's just take a look at Jimmy G. 16 for 23, 170 yards. Not a good day, really. A touchdown and 3 picks. Ouch. So they really ran the ball pretty well, the 49ers. But we're not here to talk about Jimmy G. Now for Sportsman Z, the 0-1 Bears take on the 0-1 Broncos. Whose O will go? Unfortunately, it's not the Bears. They're now 0-2 as Denver wins 23-3. Joe Flacco, well, wow, threw for 325 and a touchdown. Quarterback rating 103. So, Sportsman Z, I'm sorry to say, your Bears are 0-2. All right, Lions, Chargers. Lions and Chargers and Bears, oh my. And the Chargers go to 2-0, defeating the Lions 35-28. Matthew Stafford threw for 416 yards, 3 touchdowns, but that was not enough. They lose. Minnesota, Green Bay, both undefeated early in the season, 1-0. And Minnesota moves to 2-0 as Dan Bailey kicked 3 field goals with a 16-12 win. Jacksonville, Houston, both teams winless. Jacksonville no longer. They're 1-1. Houston's 0-2. Deshaun Watson for Houston passed for 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, rushed for another 23, but they lose the game. Now it's the Saints and the Rams. And the Rams even, they're 1-1. The Saints are 1-1 as the Rams win 29-22. We'll skip the Patriot game for the moment. Buffalo and the Giants, both 0-1. Someone's always got to go. And in what Ron Juckett would call a game, his beloved Giants win 7-3. Shaquan Barkley rushed for 75 yards and a touchdown, had 3 catches for 6 yards. So the Giants win 7-3. And for ha-has, wow, is that an awful game. Eli Manning, only threw for 124 yards and a pick. We just wanted to see. And Allen, 204 yards. So I just wanted to see that real quick. Buffalo's 0-2. The Giants are 1-1. Now, a rivalry that goes back to the old AFL days. The Chiefs versus the Raiders. Chiefs are 1-0. The Raiders are 1-0. And the Raiders go to 2-0 as Derek Carr looks like he outdueled. Well, they won, so they definitely outdueled Patrick Mahomes. Well, I wouldn't say... So Mahomes threw for 376, 3 Ds and a pick. Carr, 297, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And now the Steelers in Seattle, the battle of undefeateds early in the season. And Seattle goes to 2-0 with a 2-point win, 27-25. What puts them over the top? A 21-point second quarter. And look at that. Pittsburgh scored 22 in the fourth in a furious comeback bid. Colts, Titans. Colts win 26-21. They're 1-1. Tennessee's 0-2. Dallas versus the Redskins. And the Redskins go to 2-0 with a 24-17 win over the Cowboys. Now a battle of birds of prey, the Eagles versus the Falcons. And the Eagles go to 1-1 while the Falcons drop to 0-2, 30-26. Cleveland 1-0 versus the Jets 1-0. And the Jets go to 2-0, Cleveland drops to 1-1. Now to the games that we really want to see. The Patriots are 0-1 facing the Dolphins 0-1. Winston threw for quite a few yards in game 1, but he had 2 picks with 3 touchdowns. Can New England even up their record? New England crushes Miami 27-9. Philip Dorsett, 4 catches, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and he rushed for 2 yards. Why they put that in, who cares? All right, so Winston, 348 yards, 2 touchdowns, but again, those picks, he will throw a lot of picks. But now the Patriots are 1-1. All right, so now Tampa Bay has Carolina. I think they're going to win this. I think they're going to take Carolina. Stephen Conrad's here. Hope all is well. Sports Time Machine. Check out that wonderful channel. No, Stidham is not the Patriots quarterback. Winston. I just swapped quarterbacks from Tampa Bay and the Patriots. I almost had Stidham, but he has no ratings, so he's going to do awful in the game. This is the 2019 season. I guess we could finagle it and give him some ratings, but all right. So the Patriots win. Will the Bucs go to 2-0? They do. Again, another low-scoring game. So most likely Tom Brady is managing the game. They're letting their defense and rushing attack do their thing, and without Winston there throwing a plethora of interceptions, the Bucs go to 2-0. So let's check out Tom Brady's stats. Brady, 22 of 39, 273, no touchdowns. He did throw a pick. So again, it's a field goal, a touchdown, a 2-yard run, and a safety. So that's how they won, 12-6. So Tampa Bay's defense and Tom Brady, again, this is a sim for ha-has to see. 2nd and 10 is a pretty good sim engine when it comes to football. I've played it enough. And this is the 2019 season. So Brady managing the game, right, has now led the Bucs to 2-0. And here comes Nurse Teresa with her god-awful Tampa Bay Buccaneers sweatshirt on to mock me. Hello, Nurse Teresa. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I don't know if they'll see that. I have my New England Patriots. I don't know if they saw that, but and there's Tampa Bay. As that looked pretty racy there. Go on this side here. I don't know if you have to get in the camera angle there.
Where's the camera?
Right there. Right there.
I know, but I'm definitely not in the way.
No, you have to watch. Then we have to get back to the sim.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you can see it. Yeah. So that's Tampa. Yeah. So everyone wave, and I got the Patriots. So, and we're at odds. I still love her, but you know. Anyhow.
Life never said we were gonna agree on everything.
There we go. All right. Love you.
Love you too.
Get out. I'm just kidding, but seriously, get out. And burn that. I'm kidding. I wish they'd go back to the creamsicle uniforms. That's what I wish. I like the creamsicle uniforms.
I've had this jersey for 14 years.
As Big Clue brings up a good point, a weak schedule sure doesn't hurt. You're right, and he's hi, honey. The weak schedule does help. So that's a good point by Big Clue. Hope I pronounced that right. As Stephen Conrad says, that would have been entertaining to see the 2019 Stidham take the reins of a playoff team and see how their season changes. Well, we can sim that at some point too. He doesn't have any ratings, so it would be that would be difficult. All right, so Patriots 2-0 after 2 weeks. Tom Brady managing the game, Tampa Bay not making as many mistakes with Brady at quarterback, where Winston was an interception machine. I believe he led the league. What did he throw? 38 interceptions or some ridiculous number. But Big Clue brings up an excellent point. The week schedule doesn't hurt. All right, 1-1. We now move on to week 3. Hope everyone's doing well. A little levity with our little sim action here. Tennessee, Jacksonville. Who cares? Tennessee's 0-3. They started off poorly. They did start off poorly. Jacksonville's 2-1. 23-17 Jacksonville. Carolina, Arizona, both 1-1. And Carolina wins that 33-31. So they're 2-1. Arizona's 1-2. A battle of poop teams right now. Cincinnati and Buffalo. I think Buffalo turns the corner and wins a game here. And they do, 19-16. Miami at Dallas. Dallas should crush them. And they do, oh my lord, 66-19. Ouch. If you had Dallas and the over, you won some cha-ching. Randy Luxembourg says, I have a Trent Dilfer jersey classic. Sportsman Z, the orange and red Bucks unis were all-time best. I like the creamsicles. And Dave Gardner's a big fan of the creamsicles, too. I wish the Patriots would go back to the Pat the Patriot uniforms. I don't like their new uniforms. All right, 1-1 Denver, 1-1 Green Bay. Green Bay wins 29-17. They're 2-1. Denver's 1-2. Atlanta 0-2. Indianapolis 1-1. Atlanta, a horrible road team. I think Indy's going to take it. I'm wrong. 24-18. So both teams now 1-2. Atlanta gets their first win. Baltimore 2-0 versus Kansas City 1-1. And Baltimore is now 3-0. They defeat Kansas City 27-10. Lamar Jackson, 135 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He rushed for 189 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Houston 0-2 against the Chargers 2-0. Will Houston's O go? Yes, they get on the win column. 38-27. And where San Francisco's here and New England's here. All right, Oakland 2-0 and Minnesota 2-0. And the Raiders go to 3-0 with a 28-26 victory in Minnesota. That's a big win on the road. Detroit and Philadelphia. Lions 0-2. Eagles 1-1. Lions 1-2. They defeat the Eagles on the road 33-28. Pittsburgh, San Francisco. Battle of 1-1 teams. And Pittsburgh goes out to the city by the bay and wins 24-21. New Orleans, Seattle. 1-1 New Orleans. 2-0 Seattle. Seattle's now 3-0 with a 30-10 victory. New Orleans goes into Seattle and gets thumped. Giants, Tampa Bay. We'll hold off for a moment. That will be the last game we play. Rams and the Browns, 1-1, both teams. And the Browns go to 2-1 with a 2013 victory. Now can the Bears for Sportsman Z win a game? They're 0-2 against the 2-0 Redskins. And they are 0-3 as Washington wins a snooze fest 12-7. All right, now the games that truly matter in our sim. Bill Belichick, the Lord Sith, with Jameis Winston at quarterback. They're 1-1, taking on the Jets, who are surprising 2-0. A surprising 2-0. And then the 1-1 Giants taking on the 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Tom Brady, TB12. Dave Gardner says, how do you like simming like this versus playing the full? Oh, I so desperately want to play full games, but this is a quick little project. We're going to sim the whole season, talk to the chat, and we have some other ideas to do things, and I'd like to get some people on when we're doing it. But all right, so Patriots 1-1, Jets 2-0 in New England. And the Patriots kicked the living bejesus out of the Jets, 34-0. Jameis Winston, 278 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he rushed for 9 yards. Quarterback rating 117. Let's see if he throws any picks in this game. He threw 1 interception. So 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. They crushed the Jets 34-0. Bill Belichick getting his team in stride now. Patriots are 2-1. 2-1 now, the Patriots. So now, let's see. Who did he throw the touchdowns to? Winston to Dorsett. Winston to Edelman. And Winston to White. All right. So the Patriots are 2-1. The Bucs are 2-0 facing the 1-1 Giants. And Tom Brady and Tampa Bay do it again. Their 2013 victory sends them to 3-0. So TB12, to the joy of Dave Gardner and Randy Luxembourg, has led the Bucs to a 3-0 start. And Daniel Jones, that's for the Giants. So he actually, on the losing side, let's go to the box score. I want to make sure. Yeah. So Jones, on the losing side, is the MVP of the game, as he threw for 389 yards and 44 attempts, 27 completions, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Brady, 22 for 38, 279 yards, and a touchdown. Again, you can see him. Again, it's a sim engine, but this is what you would think. He's playing on a team with supposedly a better defense, better offensive weapons. It looks like he is game managing, a little better than game managing, and they're 3-0. They rushed for over 100 yards. And again, low-scoring games, 20-13. Tampa Bay, and it was a great point by Big Clue, they also have a weak schedule. So they're 3-0. The Patriots are 2-1. So far, Tampa Bay is liking what they see. New England's still not, they're not unhappy with a 2-1 start. So now we move to week 4. And let's find, the Patriots are visiting Buffalo. So the 2-1 Patriots at the 1-2 Bills. And Tampa Bay, do they have a bye week? Oh no, Tampa Bay, 3-0 Tampa Bay at 1-2 LA. This could be a test. The Rams have some good skill position players, so this could be a test. This could be a test for Tampa Bay, who's 3-0. All right, Philadelphia 1-2, Green Bay 2-1. I like Green Bay at home. Green Bay wins 34-20. Arizona hosting Seattle. Seattle 3-0. Arizona 1-2. Close game. I go with Seattle. Not close, but Seattle crushes Arizona 53-28. Tennessee, winless Tennessee Titans 0-3, taking on the Atlanta Falcons 1-2. And Tennessee 0-4. Ouch. Matty Ryan, the former Boston College grad, 332 and a touchdown. He's the MVP of the 23-7 Falcons. The Browns 2-1 versus the former Browns, Baltimore Ravens 3-0. And the Ravens go to 4-0 with a 34-17 victory. And let's just check out that box score real quick. Mayfield threw for 408 yards, but only 1 touchdown and 2 picks. Where Jackson, only 214 yards, but 4 touchdowns. Big difference there. Big difference. So Baltimore's 4-0. They stay in the land of the undefeated. Patriots, Buffalo. That game will be next to last. Now, Minnesota travels to Chicago, the Windy City. Can the Bears win one for Sportsman Z, for God's sakes? No! As Minnesota goes to 3-1, they're 20 with a 26-20 victory over the hapless Chicago Bears. I'm sorry, Bob. Who are 0-4. Jacksonville and Denver. Jacksonville improves their record to 3-1 with a 25-22 victory in Denver over the Broncos. Broncos now 1-3. Gardner Minshew is the MVP, the quarterback. Kansas City 1-2. Detroit 1-2. Kansas City 41. Detroit 23. Kansas City now evens their record at 2-2. Detroit drops to 1-3. Sports Time Machine is in the chat. Check out his wonderful channel. Lots of good card and dice stuff there. And wrestling. And he does bowling. I like his bowling a lot. Another fun member in our community. All right. Carolina 2-1. Houston 1-2. Houston's now 2-2. Carolina's 2-2 as Houston defeats the visiting Carolina Panthers 38-21. Oakland 3-0 versus the Colts 1-2. Oakland goes to 4-0, 35-30 victory, and that makes Chucky very happy. Derek Carr, player of the game, threw 3 touchdown passes. Tampa Bay, the Rams, will be the last game simmed. Chargers 2-1 visit the hapless Miami Dolphins. And the Dolphins win 38-24. They're 1-3. And the Chargers go to 2-2. The Redskins 3-0. Giants 1-2 in New York. Giants come out with a victory, 23-20. So the Giants even their record up at 2-2. And the Redskins lose their first game. They're now 3-1. Dallas 2-1. Visiting New Orleans 1-2. Dallas wins 33-30. They go to 3-1, so they're tied with the Redskins. And the Giants only 1 game back. New Orleans drops to 1-3. Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh. Monday night. Ugh, what a stinker. And Pittsburgh thumps them 30-12. So Pittsburgh's 3-1. Cincinnati 0-4. Now to go to the Patriots against Buffalo in Buffalo. Patriots 2-1, Buffalo 1-2, and the Patriots lose 33-28. I'm sensing turnovers. So the Patriots dropped to 2-2 with Jameis Winston at quarterback. Buffalo goes to 2-2. Let's check out the box score. Jameis Winston, 3 interceptions. There it is. Turnovers. The turnovers are a killer. You score 28 points, you should win the game, in my opinion. So Jameis Winston, 26 of 38, 261 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's great, but 3 interceptions. Not bueno. So again, Bill Belichick must be pulling what hair is left out of his head. And you can see the Patriots really don't rush the ball well. You're looking at 4 yards per carry, 3 yards per carry. A lot of different backs, a lot of different ball carriers. Touchdowns, Edelman had 1, Myers, Gordon, and Sony Michel. But the 3 turnovers are killers. So the Patriots dropped to 2-2. As I'm pointing the wrong way, 2-2. Philip Reynolds, how you doing? Check out that wonderful channel. Here we go. Does Tampa Bay go to 4-0? They visit La La Land. Tampa Bay is crushed. Crushed. I said before, LA has some offensive tools, and Brady just can't get it done in this game. I'm sorry to say, TB12. Not tonight on that game. Rams 31-6. Let's check out what Tom Brady did as Brady, 21 of 35, only 215 yards and a pick. So they can't play a low-scoring, manage the game, don't make a mistake. Brady had to do a little more, and he couldn't get it done. So the Bucs dropped from the land of the undefeated. They're now 3-1 after 4 weeks. But if you're a Bucs fan, you would take 3-1 after 4 weeks. Let's go to the chat. And Big Clue says Patriots receiving corps was the biggest problem last year. Right, and early on though they're gonna have Gordon, because they'll have the same players they did throughout the year. So they'll be I think with Winston there at quarterback, again, it's a sim. We're doing like a science project. Hello, Gunshot High Noon. So if you're a Bucs fan, you would take 3-1 after 4 weeks, I would think. Again, this is just an interesting little project thing. All right, week 5. And let's see who the Patriots have. They go to Washington, and again, in this sim, that's going to be a tough game. The 2-2 Patriots versus the 3-1 Redskins. If you're just joining us, Tom Brady was traded to the Bucs for Jameis Winston, and we're just simming the season over. Elin Olaf says, good news, everyone. I got my Inside Sports games up and running, so we will have action on EO Sports Network tomorrow. Excellent. Check out that channel. Randy Luxberg. Rams crush Bucs in real life. Cool. See? So that's interesting. And yeah, if anyone can put in when we're doing this, I should have brought up. I thought of it after I started. I should have had a printout of what they did. Again, opposite quarterbacks though. Big Clue says real life Bucks were 2-2 at this point. Okay, so they're one game better. Thank you, Big Clue. High Noon says, hi Al, I'm a Bucks fan. I would take 3-1 for sure. All right, so here we go. We're just auto simming. I'm not a big auto simmer. I like to play the games, but I recommend 2nd and 10 if you. It's a good game. No animation, but it's a fun game. I mean, you there's gameplay. I'm just simming. I have videos up. Other people have videos up on the. I did the 1958 replay of the Cleveland Browns. Went 10-0-2 and won the championship. Jimmy Brown. All right. Rams 2-2. Seattle 4-0. Seattle bumped off by the Rams. They're no longer undefeated. So Don Shula is happy about that somewhere. I don't even think they like undefeated teams in sports sims. So the Rams win 27-6. They're 3-2. Seattle's 4-1. Jacksonville, Carolina. Jacksonville surprising 3-1 in our replay. Carolina 2-2. And Carolina wins 25-20. So both Jacksonville and Carolina are 3-2. Christian McCaffrey rushed for 213 yards and 2 touchdowns, caught 4 more passes for 30 yards. Arizona, Cincinnati, 1-3 Cardinals, 0-4 Bungles, and the Bungles go to 0-5. As Arizona wins 31-10, they're 2-3. Green Bay 3-1, Dallas 3-1. This would be one of those network games on a Sunday. And you know what happened? A funny thing happened on the way to Dallas. Green Bay got crushed 34-7. They fall to 3-2. Dallas is now 4-1. Dak Prescott, 322 yards, 3 touchdowns, player of the game. Atlanta, Houston, both 2-2. Not anymore. Houston wins 29-24. They're 3-2, and the Falcons are 2-3. Denver 1-3. Chargers 2-2. Big game for the Chargers. They need to win this one. And they don't. Denver upsets them on the road 38-28. So Denver is one game closer to 500, and the Chargers, unfortunately, are one game closer to 500 at 2-3. Minnesota 3-1. The surprising New York Giants 2-2, and the surprise is gone. Minnesota wins 24-20. They're 4-1. The Giants are 2-3. Tampa Bay, New Orleans will be the last game we send. Now, Chicago goes to Oakland. So Sportsman Z will clash with Chucky. Can the Bears do it for Sportsman Z? Hip, hip, hooray, Bob! They almost do it, but they fall short by a touchdown. Oakland wins 17-10. Chucky is very happy that he left Monday Night Football now. In our sim, he's 5-0. Lobster Johnson says hi to everyone. Hello, Lobster. Randy asks, how much is 2nd and 10 and what's... They have all the NFL seasons. They give you some college seasons, but they feel bad about that, so they give you 6,000 college teams that you can play any type of tournament. I think it's like $40, $48. It's under $50. And you can download a demo and play for 3 days. So if you don't like the game, don't buy it. And then if you go to their site, they have a wonderful download package that puts the photos in for you and everything. It's really cool. Now, the newer teams don't have photos, a lot of them, so you have to put them in yourself if you want. But logos, fields, all that cool stuff. Jets, Eagles. Jets are 2-1. Eagles 1-3. Eagles are now 2-3. The Jets are 2-2. The Eagles win at home 37-20. This would be a slobber knocker game. 4-0 Ravens and the 3-1 Steelers in Pittsburgh. Ravens go to 5-0 with a 34-17 victory on the road in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh drops to 3-2 as I have the coffee belches. Buffalo 2-2, Tennessee 0-4. Tennessee gets their first win, 28-13 to the joy of Mike Vrabel, the coach. Marcus Mariota finally wins a game. New England, Washington will be the next to last game we sim. So now 1-3 Indianapolis, 2-2 Kansas City crushes Indianapolis 31-10. Mahomes, 4 touchdowns, 278 yards. Kansas City's now 3-2. Indianapolis 1-4. Cleveland 2-2 versus San Francisco 1-2. Can Jimmy G win a game? Yes. 28-22. Jimmy Garoppolo 234 yards and 4 touchdowns. They needed that. So San Francisco evens up their record at 2-2. Cleveland drops to 2-3. Now the Patriots visiting the capital, Washington, D.C., and the Redskins. Redskins 3-1. The visiting Pats 2-2. And the Patriots lose again. A close one, 24-21. And what we're going to look at when we go to this box score, how many interceptions did Jameis Winston throw? 3. 3 interceptions. Probably cost him the game. He is a turnover machine. We're just showing you the difference of when you have someone who throws a gazillion interceptions, it's very tough to win. And he only threw 1 touchdown, and that was to Edelman. So the Patriots drop below 500 now. Let's close that. So the Patriots are now 2-3. Washington 4-1. Now we go to the Bucs. After 4 weeks of the sim, they're 3-1. They go to New Orleans, where they usually have trouble, I believe. I could be wrong. For some reason, I think they usually have trouble in New Orleans. But the Saints are only 1-3. Will the Saints turn around things? Howdy to you, Appachatter. Hope all is well. Jameis Winston is the Bucs quarterback, Philip. And if someone can look up his stats, he was horrific when it came to interceptions last year. He threw for a gazillion yards, but he threw for a gazillion interceptions. All right, here's the Bucs. And New Orleans crushes Tampa Bay 40-16. So we've seen when Tampa Bay played 2 better teams offensively, they can't hang with them in this sim. Once again, they're not putting up points with Tom Brady, and now they're 3-2. And Bill Belichick's chuckling just a little bit, even though he's throwing up with Jameis Winston as his quarterback. So let's check out, as Teddy Bridgewater playing for New Orleans for the injured, Drew Brees, I went brain dead, threw for 358 yards and 3 touchdowns. Let's see what Brady did. Brady, 19 of 36, 250 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He can no longer, in this sim, with the tools they have, they're not producing points. In close games, what we saw early on against weaker to equal competition, 3 close wins, they were 3-0. Since then, they've lost 2 against teams that can put up points. So again, Tom Brady, 19 of 36, 250 yards, 1 pick, 1 touchdown. So after 5 weeks of this sim, the Patriots are 2-3. The Buccaneers are 3-2. We go to week 6. Giants, New England, 2-3, 2-3. Someone's going to 500 unless there's a tie game. And do the Bucs play? The Bucs are playing Carolina, 3-2 and 3-2. That's going to be an interesting matchup. Let's go to Big Clue. Winston led the NFL with 30 interceptions last year. That is awful. I knew he had a ton of picks. All right, Arizona and Atlanta, 2 birds going at it. And the bird of prey beats my favorite bird, the Cardinal, 31-19. Atlanta's now 3-3. Arizona's 2-4. Cincinnati, 0-5. Baltimore, 5-0. 30-point victory. I was close. 40-point victory. 47-7. Baltimore, the Ravens go to 6-0. Seattle, 4-1. Cleveland, 2-3. I like Cleveland to go 500 here and get the win. They don't. They disappoint me. 36-30. Seattle's now 5-1. Cleveland 2-4. Tennessee, Denver. And Denver evens up their record 3-3. They're at 500 with a 25-17 victory over the hapless Tennessee Titans, who are 1-5. They had a horrific start in reality. Put AB on the Bucs. Anthony Brown. Can't do that now because he's with the Patriots before he gets suspended or just let go. New Orleans, Jacksonville. But that would be interesting. We could do that going forward. 24-10. The Saints are 3-3. Jacksonville's 3-3 as the Saints win. Houston 3-2. Kansas City 3-2. Kansas City's at home. Kansas City wins. Close one. 24-19. Kansas City 4-2. Houston 3-3. So it looks like Mahomes is getting in stride now. 376 and 2 touchdowns. Player of the game. San Francisco versus the Rams. Let's go Jimmy G. And in a snooze fest, Garoppolo's 241 yards passing helped San Francisco 13-7 over the Rams. So the Rams go to 3-3. The 49ers 3-2. Washington 4-1. Miami 1-3. Washington crushes them in the Sunshine City 27-6. So Washington surprising 5-1. Miami 1-4. Keenum. Oh yeah, Keenum. I remember Case Keenum. I was just curious. I couldn't remember who their quarterback was. Philadelphia 2-3. Minnesota 4-1. Minnesota's 5-1 as they crush Philadelphia 41-6. Philadelphia 2-4. Dallas at the Jets. I like Dallas big. They win, but not big. 27-22. Dallas 5-1. The Jets 2-3. Pittsburgh and the Chargers. Pittsburgh goes on the road. They defeat the Chargers 30-22. The Steelers are now 4-2. The Chargers 2-4. Detroit 1-3. Green Bay 3-2 in Green Bay, and Green Bay loses. Wow, that's a surprise. 42-25. So Detroit gets a game closer to 500 at 2-3. Green Bay drops to 500, 3-3. Now we go to the Patriots 2-3 versus the Giants 2-3. Giants come into Foxborough. I still call it Foxborough. Gillette Stadium. I don't even know what the hell it's called anymore. Here we go. And Patriots shut out the Giants to the disgust of Uncle Ron Juckett and Retro Sports Network, 14-0. Jameis Winston, 272 yards and 2 touchdowns, and only 1 pick. So, Patriots even their record to 3-3, only 1 pick. Randy Luxembourg says, I think he threw something like 37 touchdowns. Randy Luxembourg. I did not see Mike Evans in the Bucs box score. Well, we'll check that out now. Again, 2nd and 10. If the player did not play that week in that game, he's not in the box scores. You can only play with the players the way it's. You can change that, but I play with what was set up. What actually happened. Players who were eligible for the game. Tampa Bay, Carolina, both 3-2 in Tampa. And against a weaker opponent, the Bucs go to 4-2 with a 23-3 victory over the Carolina Panthers. Shaquille Barrett on defense, he's the most valuable player of the game. 12 tackles, 3 sacks, and a safety. Tom Brady threw 44 times, 234 yards, only completed 26 passes, no touchdowns, no picks, but no turnovers. There's the big difference. No turnovers for Tampa. They're 4-2. New England's 3-3. We go to week 7 as we're almost halfway through. Let's see. New England's at the Jets. Tampa Bay looks like they might have a bye week. I'm not seeing them. So Tampa Bay has a bye week. Let's go quickly. Kansas City and Denver. Close one, but Kansas City wins 29-24. They're 5-2. Denver's 3-4 as they're sliding out of the playoff race. Rams 3-3. Atlanta 3-3. This will determine who stays in the playoff race. And it will be Atlanta right now as they win 29-21. They're 4-3. Miami 1-4. Buffalo trying to even their record up. They're 2-3 in Buffalo. Buffalo wins 26-18. They're now 3-3. Miami drops to 1-5. New Orleans goes to the Windy City and takes on the Chicago Bears. New Orleans is 3-3. The Bears are 0-5. 0-5. Can they win for Sportsman Z? And the Bears pull it off. Hallelujah. 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 The Bears win 34-27 to the joy of Sportsman Z. They're now 1-5. New Orleans 3-4. Jacksonville, Cincinnati. Can Cincinnati win a game? Nope. Jacksonville not crushes. 31-24. Cincinnati's 0-7. Jacksonville is 4-3. Gardner Minshew, again, player of the game. He's had a few of those. Minnesota 3-1. Detroit 2-3. In Detroit. And Detroit gets their record to 500 with a 33-16 victory over the Northmen. Minnesota now 5-2. The undefeated Oakland Raiders take on the 3-3 Green Bay Packers in Cheese Country. And, Chucky's O just had to go. As Aaron Rodgers threw for 3 touchdowns and 253 yards, the Packers defeat the Raiders 24-10. So the Raiders 5-1, Green Bay 4-3. Houston 3-3 travels to Indianapolis 1-4, and Houston wins by 3 points. Deshaun Watson passes for 306 yards, a touchdown, and he rushed for another 56 yards. So Houston's 4-3, Indianapolis drops to 1-5. Arizona 2-4, the Giants 2-4. Who's going to get closer to 500? The Giants! In an exciting game, 39-33, Giants score 14 points in the fourth quarter for the victory. Daniel Jones, 431 yards and 4 touchdowns for the G-men. Ravens 6-0 against Seattle 5-1. Will the Ravens O go? No! They go to 7-0, and Don Shula's not happy with that. As the Ravens win 35-15, they handle the Seahawks quite easily. Chargers 2-4, Tennessee 1-5. Tennessee goes to 2-5 with a very impressive win at home, 35-10. Ryan Tannehill has taken over at quarterback. He threw for 3 touchdowns and 284 yards and also rushed for a touchdown. Jimmy G and the San Francisco 49ers travel to Washington and hope not to get scalped by the 5-1 Redskins. San Francisco 3-2. The Redskins, as I stated, 5-1. And Jimmy G comes through on the road. Big game for Jimmy Garoppolo. 364 yards, 2 touchdowns. As the 49ers scalp the Redskins 31-17. Philadelphia at Dallas. Dallas crushes the Eagles. The Eagle does not soar in Dallas. They are shot down 31-7. Dallas is 6-1. Philadelphia 2-5. Now the Patriots 3-3 travel to the New York Jets. Jets. And the Patriots crush the Jets. 42-3. Jameis Winston, 4 touchdown passes, 278 yards. Let's see how many picks. Patriots now 4-3, as I stated. Good day for Jameis Winston. 4 touchdowns, only 1 pick. The touchdown passes were 2. 1 to Edelman, 2 to Dorsett, and 1 to Myers. So the Patriots, through 7 weeks of football, are 4-3, 1 game over 500. We go to week 8 at the midway point. The Bucks have Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay Bucks have Tennessee in Tennessee. Very winnable game for Tom Brady and the Bucks. The Patriots have Cleveland coming in. So 2 winnable games for these teams. Let's quickly auto-play Washington and Minnesota. Minnesota wins 23-17. That's a big game there. They're 6-2. Washington drops to 5-3 as they lose on the road. 5-2 Seattle at 4-3 Atlanta. Another big game here in week 8. And Seattle comes back after losing at home with a 36-30 victory on the road. They're 6-2. Atlanta drops to 4-4. Philadelphia, Buffalo. Buffalo 3-3, trying to stay in the playoff race, and they will. They crushed the Eagles in Buffalo 34-7, so they're 4-3. The Eagles are 2-6. The 2-5 Chargers, the 1-5 Bears, and the Bears get slobber-knockered in Chicago 31-7. So they won one last week for Sportsman Z, but they just couldn't do it again this week. Chargers are 3-5. Giants 3-4. Detroit 3-3. Giants with an exciting win, 34-27. Daniel Jones passes for 358 yards and 4 touchdowns. Oakland 5-1, traveling to Houston to play in the Dome. And Houston wins in an old-fashioned AFL slugfest, 48-41. So Chucky loses 2 consecutive games. They're now 5-2, and Houston's now 5-3. Deshaun Watson, 315 yards and 2 touchdowns. Denver, a surprising 3-4, takes on the Colts 1-5, and Denver needed that win, and they got it, 34-18. They're 4-4. They're 500. The Colts are falling fast and furious. They're 1-6. Jets 2-4. Jacksonville 4-3 in Jacksonville, and the Jets fall to 2-5 as Jacksonville wins at home, 23-16. Once again, Gardner Minshew, player of the game, 294 with 2 touchdowns. Cincinnati 0-7, Rams 3-4. I think the Rams will feast on the Bengals. Well, it wasn't much of a feast, but they won 23-16. Rams 4-4, Cincinnati 0-8. Cleveland 2-4, New England 4-3. Next to last game we'll play. And Arizona 2-5, Saints 3-4. Saints crush Arizona 41-26. Saints get back to 500. Arizona slips sliding away at 2-6. Jimmy G at home with the 2-4. San Francisco 49ers take on the 3-3 visiting Carolina Panthers. And Garoppolo and the 49ers win 35-25. As Raheem Mostert, 60 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, player of the game, 4 catches, 42 yards. So the 49ers 5-2. Carolina drops below 500. They're 3-4. Miami, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh shuts out the Dolphins 28-0. Pittsburgh now 5-2. The Dolphins 1-6. Green Bay goes to Kansas City, and Green Bay beats them 34-10. Both teams are now 5-3. So here we go. Cleveland 2-4 visiting Jameis Winston, Bill Belichick, and the Patriots, who are 4-3. And Cleveland comes in and upsets the Patriots 22-17. Baker Mayfield throws for 338 yards and 3 touchdowns. Let's see how many interceptions Jameis Winston threw in this game. Surprisingly, none. He had a pretty decent 30. He threw 50. Oh my God, he threw 55 times. As they just can't run the ball, just like in real life. 37 for 55, 279, 2 touchdowns. Myers had a touchdown reception, and Sanu, who they picked up on a trade. They lose 22-17. They got a safety as Mayfield was sacked by Butler in the end zone. And then a field goal for Cleveland, but that didn't matter. It just iced the game away. So Winston didn't throw any interceptions, but they really couldn't mount any type of offense either. So the Patriots, after 8 weeks, they're 500 at 4-4. Cleveland's 3-4. Tampa Bay 4-2, traveling to Tennessee, who's 2-5, but Tannehill's at quarterback now. A good test for TB12 and his Bucks. And they're crushed. Tennessee crushes Tampa Bay 38-0. Ryan Tannehill, 287, 4 touchdowns. TB12, not so bueno, as it looks like he was replaced by Griffin. I don't know if he was hurt, but you can see he's so bad. 6 of 16, 52 yards a pick, that they went to Griffin, who was 8 of 16 for 60 yards. So TB12 showing some decline in his play in Week 8. So let's go to the standings after 8 weeks. Buffalo and New England. Buffalo leads the East, AFC East, as they're 4-3. New England second, 4-4. Baltimore 7-0 leads the NFC North. Pittsburgh's behind them at 5-2. Jacksonville and Houston are tied in the AFC South, both 5-3. Oakland, percentage points ahead of the Chiefs, as they're 5-2. The Chiefs have played one more game. They're 5-3. And the surprising Broncos are 4-4. Dallas 6-1. They lead the NFC East after 8 weeks. Washington 5-3. Giants 500, 4-4. Minnesota 6-2. They lead the NFC North with Green Bay behind them at 5-3. Tampa Bay leads the NFC South 4-3, and then you have New Orleans and Atlanta at 4-4, and Carolina at 3-4. That's going to be a slobber knocker down the stretch. And Seattle 6-2 leads the NFC West, with San Francisco 5-2 and the Rams 4-4. So that's how we stand there. Let's go back to the schedule. We move on to Week 9. San Francisco defeats Arizona 34-13. They're now 6-2. Arizona gone. 2-7. Washington 5-3. Buffalo 4-3. Washington on the road defeats Buffalo 24-17 to the joy of Patriots fans. If they can win, they'll take over first place. Tennessee 3-5. They're on a roll after crushing Tampa Bay. Carolina 3-4. The roll ends in Carolina as the Panthers win 30-14. They're 500. Tennessee 3-6. Cleveland 3-4. Denver 4-4 in Mile High, and Denver holds on to win at home 32-29. They're 5-4. Cleveland slip sliding away at 3-5. Minnesota 6-2. Kansas City 5-3. Big game, and Kansas City loses on the road. Minnesota loses at home. Minnesota goes into Kansas City. They win 23-13. Minnesota 7-2. Kansas City 5-4. Green Bay 5-3. They got to win to keep pace with the Vikings. Travel to San Diego 3-5, and they lose. San Diego wins 28-21. Chargers 4-5. Green Bay 5-4. Jets 2-5. Dolphins 1-6 in Miami. Dolphins go to 2-6. The Jets fall to 2-6. Dolphins win 20-14. Detroit, Oakland. In Oakland. And Detroit pulls off the upset. So Chucky, 3 straight losses now for Chucky and his Raiders. Just win, baby. Detroit's now 4-4 with a 33-30 victory. Oakland's 5-3. We go to the chat. Unbridled optimism for RG3. Oh, is that who that is? Robert Griffin III? Oh, you're probably right. I was wondering who that is. I liked him. He should have never they played. He got hurt when they were killing a team, and he hurt his knee, and he was never the same for the Redskins. Never the same, period. Chicago 1-6. Philadelphia 2-6. And Chicago picks up their second win for Sportsman Z, 28-23. Colts 1-6. Pittsburgh 5-2. Colts upset Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh 26-7. That is a horrible defeat for the Steelers. Steelers drop to 5-3. Colts get their second win. Tampa Bay 4-3 going to Seattle 6-2. That's not going to look pretty. Patriots 4-4 at Baltimore 7-0. That's not going to look pretty. Here we go. Houston, Jacksonville, both 5-3. Not anymore. Jacksonville wins at home 31-27. They're 6-3. Houston drops to 5-4. 6-1 Dallas, 4-4 Giants. Let's see if the Giants are for real. Giants usually play the Cowboys tough, and it's in New York. And they played them tough, but they lose 17-13. So Dallas 7-1, commanding lead in the East. Giants drop to 4-5. Now, the Patriots 4-4 take on the last undefeated team in this NFL season sim. The Ravens 7-0. Can Bill Belichick, the Lord Sith, and Jameis Winston pull it off? They almost do, but they don't. In a close slobber knocker, the Ravens hold on to win 16-14. And the MVP was Matt Judon. 4 tackles, 2 sacks. And I don't know what a PD is. So Winston, 15 of 34, 181 yards and an interception. Patriots hold Lamar Jackson in check, 12 for 32, 118 yards. He did rush for 62 yards and a rushing touchdown, so that's a killer there. And again, the Patriots can get no real ground game going. So they now drop to 4-5. They do not take advantage of Buffalo losing at home to the Redskins. And here we go. Tampa Bay 4-3, Seattle 6-2. And Seattle, in a close game, wins 16-13. The Seahawks go to 7-2 2. Tampa Bay drops back to 500 at 4-4. Let's see what Tom Brady did. Brady, 25 of 42, 240 yards and a touchdown. Again, he's throwing the ball a ton, but not putting up big numbers. So, after 9 weeks of football, Tampa Bay is 4-4, and the Patriots are 4-5. We go to Week 10. Chargers, Oakland. Let's quickly play it. Oakland finally ends their 3-game losing streak. They beat the Chargers 19-14. They go to 6-3. Detroit at Chicago. And Chicago picks up another win for Sportsman Z. 18-13. Chicago only 3 games under 500. They're 3-6. Detroit 4-5. Baltimore 8-0 versus the Bungles 0-8. That's a massacre. Though the Bengals played them tough, 20-10, but Baltimore goes to 9-0. And somewhere Don Shula and the 72 Dolphins are going nuts that we might have an undefeated team in a sim game. So now it's Buffalo 4-4, Cleveland 3-5, and Buffalo wins 18-10. They go to 5-4. They are the AFC East leaders. Cleveland drops to 3-6. Carolina, Green Bay 4-4, Panthers 5-4, Packers. And the Panthers defeat the Packers 20-17. They go to 5-4. Green Bay drops to 5-5. Dolphins 2-6. Colts 2-6 in Indianapolis. And the Dolphins pick up their 3rd win, 23-14. They're 3-6. And the Colts are 2-7. Giants 4-5. Jets 2-6. The Big Apple battle. And the Jets win it 22-14. Giants 4-6, Jets 3-6. Atlanta 4-4, New Orleans 4-4. Playoff implications on the line, and New Orleans crushes Atlanta 40-13. They go to 5-4. Atlanta drops below 500, 4-5. Minnesota 7-2. Dallas 7-1. Dallas at home. The Lone Star team wins 52-31. Dak Prescott, 494 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also rushed for a touchdown. Dallas 8-1, Minnesota 7-3. Kansas City 5-4, Tennessee 3-6 in Tennessee, and Tennessee wins 34-26. Ryan Tannehill making a difference like he did in real life. They're now 4-6. Kansas City struggling at 5-5, that Super Bowl team. Arizona, Tampa Bay will be the last game we play. That's a big relief there. Tampa Bay should win this one. Rams 4-4, Pittsburgh 5-3. Pittsburgh wins in a struggle at home 13-6. Seattle 7-2. San Francisco 6-2. Will Jimmy G do it? Yes! The 49ers they go to 7-2. Seattle drops to 7-3. Jimmy G and the Niners win 35-10. Garoppolo 194 yards and 3 touchdowns. There we go now. New England has a bye week, as I don't see him on here. So here's the game. Tampa Bay 4-4. Arizona 2-7. I think Tampa Bay should win. They don't! Oh, and a shocking loss at home. An ouch loss. The 2-7 Arizona Cardinals come in. They pick up their 3rd win, 20-15. Kyler Murray throws for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. 20-yard touchdown pass to Williams with 21 seconds left in the 4th quarter. That is a horrific loss for the Tampa Bay Bucks in this sim. Tom Brady, 28 of 42, 272 yards. Again, seems to be managing the game. No touchdowns, no interceptions. He's not making the big plays, though. Kyle Murray, touchdown pass with 21 seconds left in the game to Williams. And Arizona, so Tampa Bay was up 15-13, and their defense blows it. So Tom Brady managed them almost to a win. We go to week 11. New England at 4-5 takes on the 2-7 Eagles, and Tampa Bay at home 4-5 take on the 5-4 Saints. That was a horrific loss at home to the Cardinals. All right, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. And the Browns lose at home. Pittsburgh wins 22-13. They're 7-3. Cleveland's the opposite, 3-7. Houston 5-4. Baltimore 9-0. Will Baltimore's O go? No, they're 10-0 now, 31-7 over the Texans. Atlanta, Carolina. Carolina wins by 10, 34-24 at home, so they go to 6-4. The Falcons 4-6. Dallas 8-1. Detroit 4-5 in the Motor City, and Dallas beats them quite handily, 31-16. Dallas now 9-1. Detroit 4-6. Jacksonville, Indianapolis. Jacksonville surprising 6-3, but a horrific loss on the road. Indianapolis beats them 24-3. So they drop to 6-4. Indianapolis improves to 3-7. Buffalo 5-4. AFC East leaders taking on a surprising 3-6 Dolphins in Miami. Buffalo usually has difficulty in Miami, and they do. Miami beats them 24-14. Miami getting themselves back in this race in the AFC East. So Buffalo's 500. Miami 4-6. Denver 5-4. Minnesota 7-3. Can the Vikings win at home? They do quite handily, 31-10. So they're 8-3. Denver 5-5. Cincinnati, the opposite of the Baltimore Ravens, they're 0-9. Oakland 6-3. Chucky's happy to see the Bungles coming to town, and the Bungles almost pull off an upset as Chucky pulls out his hair, but they win 35-13. So Oakland, after a 3-game losing skid, is now 7-3 as they've recovered quite nicely. And everyone gets healthy against the Bengals. Bengals 0-10. Jets, Redskins. Redskins win 28-3, trying to keep pace with the Cowboys. They're 7-3. The Jets are 3-7. New Orleans, Tampa Bay, last game we'll sim. Arizona, San Francisco. Big game for San Francisco. They got to win this at home. And they do quite easily, 38-17. Garoppolo, 201 yards and 2 touchdowns, player of the game. 49ers, 8-2. Arizona, 3-8. Chicago 3-6. The Rams 4-5 on the road. Can they win for Sportsman Z? Yes, they can. As Chicago is starting to surge, 28-24 the victory for the Bears as they eat the Rams up. And Chicago now 4-6. The Rams 4-6. Kansas City struggling at 5-5. Take on the Chargers. 4-6, and Kansas City wins that by 10. They needed that win in the worst way. 34-24. They're now 6-5. Chargers falling out of playoff contention at 4-7. All right, here we go, folks. New England, 1 game under 500. They're 4-5. They go to Philadelphia 2-7, and New England needed that win. 21-13. Jameis Winston, 329 yards, 2 touchdowns. Player of the game. Patriots 5-5. Philadelphia drops to 2-8. Jameis Winston, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. The touchdown passes were to Bolden, the running back. So the Patriots 5-5. They tie Buffalo at 5-5, and Miami's right behind them. That's going to be a slobber knocker in the AFC East. Here's Tampa Bay. Ooh, not going to be a pretty game here for TB12. New Orleans 5-4. They can put up points. Tampa Bay struggles to score points at home, 4-5. But Tampa Bay pulls it off for Dave Gardner and Randy Luxembourg. Wow! As they win 20-17, and that's an upset even though they're at home. Both teams are now 5-5. So let's go and see what Tom Brady did. Brady, 24 of 45, 274 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. But they win. They win. They win. That's all that matters. That's the stat that matters in every sport. The W. So 20-7. That is a good win for Tampa Bay. As Dave Gardner has just resubbed with that victory. Thank you, Dave. Elin Olaf. Yeah, Cards Murray's going to be a beast. I like him. He's a good quarterback. He's exciting. Randy Luxembourg. I'm pretty sure that this is precisely what happened in the Bucks Cards game. Okay. Oh, that was the other one before. Yep. I forgot. Unbridled optimism, chatter. We already read that. Okay, so I think this is kind of fun. So if someone can look to see where the Bucs were, if you want to, after week 11, they're 5-5, and the Patriots were better, obviously, that I know. The Patriots are also. So after 11 weeks of football, Patriots 5-5, New England 5-5. Patriots are worse with Jameis Winston. I think the Bucs are slightly better with Tom Brady. We go to week 12. Indianapolis, Houston, quickly sim it. Houston goes to 6-5 with a 30-17 win over the Colts. Tampa Bay, Atlanta will be the last game we sim. Denver 5-5, Buffalo 5-5. Big game if you're a Patriots fan. And Buffalo gets back on stride, winning at home 20-9. They're now 6-5. Denver's 5-6. Giants 4-6. Bears 4-6 from the Windy City. Will they win for Sportsman Z? Yes! Again they win. So the Bears coming on like gangbusters. They defeat the Giants 30-16. They're now 5-6. One game under 500. The Giants are, as they say in that Paul Simon song, slip sliding away. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Yes, they got crushed. 30-15. Pittsburgh 8-3. Cincinnati should just forfeit. They're 0-11. Miami, Cleveland. And Cleveland wins at home in a high-scoring affair, 45-39. So Cleveland 4-7, Miami 4-7. Jets 7-3 travel to the Jets 3-7. And the Jets upset Oakland. Chucky, John Gruden going spastic. He loses on the road. Sam Darnell for the Jets, 285 and 3 touchdowns, player of the game. Jets win 24-10. New England has Dallas coming in. That's an ouchie. That's an ouch game. 9-1 Dallas, 5-5 New England. All right, that'll be the next to last game we sim. 6-4 Carolina, 5-5 Saints. Saints go to 6-5. Carolina drops to 6-5 as the Saints win at home, 48-28. Eagles 2-8 at home, taking on the visiting 7-3 Seahawks. And the Eagles upset the Seahawks 15-6. So 49er fans are happy about that. So Seattle drops 7-4. Seattle moves to 3-8. Jacksonville surprising 6-4 against the surging Tennessee Titans 4-6. And Tennessee wins as Derrick Henry rushed for 200 yards and a touchdown. Also had a receiving touchdown. So Tennessee's 5-6, 27-8 over Jacksonville, who's now 6-5. Detroit 4-6. Washington 7-3. Washington horrible loss at home. They lose to the Lions. Lions win 31-17. They're now 5-6, and Washington is just a vision in Dallas's rearview mirror now at 7-4. Green Bay 5-5, going to San Francisco 8-2, and Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers defeats Jimmy G and the 49ers 40-28. So there's still hope for the Seahawks. Green Bay 6-5, San Francisco 8-3. Baltimore Ravens 10-0, going to La La Land to take on the Los Angeles Rams 4-6, and they shut out the Rams 20-0. The Ravens now go to 11-0. So now let's go to the games in our replay that matter. Dallas 9-1, Patriots 5-5. Can the Patriots put it together? We'll show the standings after this week. Can the Patriots put it together here? No, they lose by 10, 23-13. Patriots fall below 500. Julian Edelman had 15 catches for 158 yards, but it was not enough. Dallas 10-1, Patriots 5-6. Box score: Winston, not a bad day. Oh God, he threw 65 times. Holy, they just can't run the ball. There's no running game, just like in real life. He threw 291 yards, only one touchdown, no picks. So, and then the Patriot defense gives up 23 points. That's not dreadful, but they lose. Now, TB12 Tom Brady and the beloved Buccaneers of Dave Gardner and Randy Luxembourg. 5-5 Tampa Bay, visiting Atlanta 4-6. This will see if they're a playoff team. And Tampa Bay pulls it off on the road, 29-22, even though The Falcons' Matty Ryan threw for 338 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also had it's only a yard rushing. So he's a player of the game, but they lose. Tom Brady, best game as a Buck. 31 for 48, 371 yards and a touchdown. He turns back the hands of time against the Boston College graduate in a shootout, 29-22. So Tampa Bay goes to 6-5, Atlanta 4-7, and now after week 12, let's go to the standings. Buffalo in first at 6-5, New England 5-6, Miami and the Jets are both 4-7. In the North, Baltimore 11-0, Pittsburgh 8-3. NFC South, Jacksonville 6-5, Houston 6-5. What a turnaround for the Titans. Tennessee 5-6. There's the turnaround. Oakland in the AFC West 7-4, Kansas City 6-5. Denver not out of it yet, 5-6. They still have hope. Dallas starting to run away with things in the NFC East. They're 10-1, and Washington 7-4. Giants and Eagles that went zip down the cliff. NFC North, Minnesota 8-3, Green Bay 6-5, Chicago 5-6, Detroit 5-6. So there's still hope for those teams to try to sneak in a wild card possibly. Tampa Bay leads the NFC South at 6-5. Actually, they're tied with New Orleans at 6-5, and Carolina 6-5. So that's a slobber knocker. You look at points for. Tampa Bay's only scored 170 points, but they've only given up 219. So it's their defense that's kept them in the games. Tom Brady's managed the games. When they've played better offensive teams, they just don't win. New Orleans has scored 327 points, and Carolina 247. So Tampa Bay struggles with points, but they're in a tie with New Orleans and Carolina, all three teams 6-5. And then down here at the bottom, San Francisco 8-3, Seattle 7-4. That's after. Let's go back to the schedule. As we go to week 13, Buffalo traveling to Dallas. Dallas wins 27-10. They're 11-1. Buffalo back to 500, 6-6. Patriots need to win. They have a shot here. They go into Houston. They lost in Houston last year for real. I remember that. But this is a shot for them. They're 5-6. Houston 6-5. Chicago 5-6. Detroit 5-6 in the Motor City. Who gets to 500? The Bears do it again for Sportsman Z. They win 15-10 over the Lions. They're now 6-6. Pinheiro kicked 3 field goals. Detroit drops to 5-7. New Orleans, Atlanta in Atlanta. New Orleans wins 30-10. They're 7-5, so Tampa Bay's going to have to win to keep pace. Rams, Arizona, who cares? We play the game. Rams go to 5-7. They defeat the Cardinals 27-20. Chargers, Broncos. This is a big game for the Broncos. Are they pretenders? Yes, they are. The Chargers go into Denver and thump them 24-6. Both teams now 5-7. Jets, Cincinnati. Can the Bengals finally win a game at home? They're 0-11. Here come the Jets into town. No, they can't. The Jets move to 5-7 with an easy thrashing of the Bengals 27-6. Washington taking on the 6-5 Carolina Panthers. Big implication here if you're a Bucs fan. And Carolina keeps pace with the Saints. They beat the Redskins, who come into Carolina and lose by a field goal. Panthers 16, the Redskins 13. San Francisco 8-3, taking on Baltimore 11-0. Will Baltimore's O go? No! In a game that resembled real life, there's a slobber knocker slugfest there, 14-7. Defensive struggle. Lamar Jackson outduels Jimmy G. He's the player of the game, Lamar Jackson. 272 yards and a touchdown. He rushed for 90 yards. Baltimore goes to 12-0. San Francisco 8-4. Tennessee, Indianapolis. Tennessee gets to 500 as they go on the road and they beat the Colts 24-6. Tampa Bay, Jacksonville will be the last game we sim. Big game. Big game in the AFC West. Oakland Raiders taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. And the Chiefs win 31-21. They have now tied the Raiders for first place. Patrick Mahomes, 328 yards, 3 touchdowns. Philadelphia and Miami, you got to play it. And the Eagles go to 4-8. The Dolphins drop to 4-8. It's now 30-13. Giants, Green Bay in New York. Green Bay wins handily, 31-14. They're 7-5. They're starting to surge. Giants out of it at 4-8. Cleveland travels to their heated rival, the Steelers. And the Steelers beat them in a close one, 25-17. Pittsburgh now 9-3. The Browns 4-8. New England, Houston, big game for the Pats. If they win, they will tie Buffalo for first place at 6-6. But before that, we go to Minnesota, Seattle. Tremendous Monday night matchup. 8-3 Vikings, 7-4 Seattle from the Great White Pacific North. Actually, the rainy Pacific North. And the Vikings handle Seattle quite easily, 23-7. They win on the road to go 9-3. Seattle drops to 7-5. Good news if you're a 49ers fan. So now, can the Patriots and Jameis Winston and the Lord Sith Bill Belichick go into Houston, where they lost quite handily to the Texans in real life? No! In a shootout, in an old-fashioned Western shootout, Houston holds on 37-31. They score 6 points in the fourth quarter, and that seemed to be enough. Jameis Winston went nuts. 358 yards for the losing effort by the Patriots. 3 touchdowns. And so the Patriots dropped 2 games below 500. Let's see what how many interceptions did he throw? Only 1. Good game. So again, the defense lets the Patriots down in that game. Jameis Winston, you'll take that all day, all night. 25 completions, 44 attempts, 358 yards, 3 touchdowns, and only a pick. When does he throw the pick? That's the, I'm not going to go through that to see if it's late in the game. So that's a bad loss. Patriots, 2 games below 500. And now Tampa Bay needs the win to keep pace with the 7-5 Saints and the 7-5 Panthers. Dave Gardner and Randy Luxembourg are holding their breath. I can't find the game. Here it is, right here. 6-5 Tampa Bay, 6-5 Jacksonville. And Tampa Bay gets crushed 51-31. They did put up some points, but not enough. The defense, which usually tries, again, a good offensive team. Jacksonville's an okay offensive team in this sim replay. And Brady was actually, again, replaced by Robert Griffin. Brady totally ineffective. 5 of 17, 28 yards and a pick. Robert Griffin, 18 for 25, 151 yards and 3 touchdowns. Will Brady be benched? That's the question. Will they bench Brady now? It's on the lips of everyone. Let's go to the chat. Nothing new there. Okay, so Brady pooped himself. All right, let's go. So that's 13 weeks of football done. Let's quickly go to the standings again. Patriots behind the Bills. Bills are 6-6. Patriots 1 game back at 5-7. The Jets only 1 game back at 5-7. Baltimore's 12-0. Pittsburgh's 9-3. Jacksonville and Houston are 7-5. Tennessee's 6-6 in the South. In the AFC West, Kansas City has tied Oakland, but with the win, they hop over them. They're both 7-5. Denver and the Chargers both 5-7. In the NFC, in the East, Dallas 11-1. They're running away with it. Washington hoping to get a wild card at 7-5. Minnesota 9-3. Green Bay 7-5. And the surprising Chicago Bears are now 6-6. Detroit's 5-7. New Orleans 7-5. Carolina 7-5. And Tampa Bay is at 500, 6-6 in the NFC South. In the West, Jimmy G and the 49ers have a 1-game lead over Seattle as they're 8-4, and the Seahawks are 7-5. Back to the schedule. Week 14. Dallas, Chicago. If Chicago can pull this one off, Sportsman Z is going to have a parade in his living room. The Chicago Bears upset the Cowboys. The Cowboys come into the Windy City quite confident, and they lose 23-17. Ha Dixon is the MVP on defense. Unbelievable. So Sportsman Z, you should be quite happy. Now Pittsburgh, Arizona. Pittsburgh, oh, that's a bad loss. Arizona upsets Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh comes in quite confident, but they lose 26-23. Gonzalez kicked 6 field goals. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Go back to schedule. I clicked on the wrong button. I wanted to go box score. Gonzalez kicked 6 field goals for the Cardinals. Just want to look at that quick. 7-5 Carolina, 4-8 Atlanta. Big implications here if you're a Bucs fan. And Carolina wins 45-38. They're 8-5. Baltimore 12-0. Buffalo 6-6. Will Baltimore's O go? And Baltimore is finally defeated. Their undefeated streak ends in Week 14. The 72 Dolphins and Don Shula pop the champagne. As Buffalo, a big win at home. You're a Patriots fan. You're hoping Baltimore would beat them, but they can't. Buffalo wins 27-21. Josh Allen, player of the game, 243 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Wow. So no undefeated season for the Ravens. Chargers, Jacksonville. Jacksonville 7-5. Big game for them, and they win in a close one, 10-7. They're now 8-5. Denver, Houston. And Houston, that's a bad loss. They were 7-5. Well, they lose 10-3. They're now 7-6. Denver, 1 game under 500, 6-7. Washington 7-5. Green Bay 7-5. Wild card implications on the line. And Green Bay wins at home 16-13. Washington slip sliding away. Green Bay 8-5. Washington 7-6. So Baltimore loses. Can Cincinnati win? They're 0-12. They go to Cleveland. Hated rivals. And Cincinnati goes into Cleveland. And they get their first win of the season, 17-10. Oh my God, the dog pound must be going nuts. Cleveland tried to mount a comeback in the fourth quarter. They scored 10 points, but they fall a touchdown short and a bridge too far. Detroit, Minnesota. In Minnesota, Minnesota wins 27-20. They're now 10-3. Detroit 5-8. Miami 4-8. Jets 5-7. Jets win at home, 27-15. They're now 6-7. Patriots, oh my God, this is going to be awful. Kansas City comes into town. Patriots need to win or they're done. San Francisco 8-4. New Orleans 7-5. San Francisco loses. Saints now 8-5. San Francisco 8-5 with the New Orleans victory, 37-14 over the 49ers. Giants, Eagles, who cares? The Eagles do because they win, 27-20. Seattle versus the Rams in LA. Seattle wins a close one, 22-19. They're 8-5. Rams 5-8. Colts, Tampa Bay, last game will sim. Tennessee 6-6. Oakland 7-5. Big game for the Titans. And the Titans lose in Oakland. So Chucky's happy again. John Gruden finally with a smile on his face. 31-14. Raiders 8-5. Tennessee 6-7. Here we go to the Patriots. And the Patriots get crushed, as I expected. Patriots now 5-8. Kansas City handles them quite easily, 31-10. Let's see the Jameis Winston box score. 44 attempts, 23 completions, 4 picks. Ball game over with 4 picks. So again, the defense was on the field a lot and probably put in bad spots with 4 interceptions. Patriots slip sliding away. They're now 5-8. So the Lord Sith can't do it, it seems, with Jameis Winston. And here's Indianapolis and Tampa Bay. This is a very winnable game for Tom Brady and Tampa Bay. And they win 39-20. Tom Brady, player of the game. Again, second time player of the game this year. And he throws for nearly 400 yards, 398 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. So there you have it. Tom Brady against his former underling, Jacoby Brissett. Brissett threw for 245, 16-31 with a pick. All right, we go to Week 15, but before we start Week 15, the standings. And we'll just quickly look. Patriots now in 3rd place. The Jets have surpassed them. Boy, Jets fans are happy to see that. Buffalo 7-6, Jets 6-7, Patriots sliding down on. It's like chutes and ladders. They've hit the chute. They're 5-8. Baltimore 12-1. They finally lose. Pittsburgh 9-4. Jacksonville 8-3. Houston 7-6. Tennessee 6-7. In the West, in the AFC, Oakland and Kansas City both tied at 8-5. Denver's out of it at 6-7. In the NFC East, Dallas loses in Buffalo, so they're 11-2. Washington loses, they're 7-6. Wildcard hope slipping away for them. Minnesota 10-3 in the NFC North. Green Bay 8-3, and the surprising Chicago Bears, they're surging. They're 7-6. Lots of wins. What a horrible start for the Bears. Had they just won a couple of those games, they'd be right up there. The Saints in the NFC South 8-5. Carolina's 8-5. Tampa Bay 1 game back at 7-6. In the West, San Francisco's 8-5. Seattle's 8-5. Week 15. Baltimore gets back on track as the Jets come into town and they lose 17-10. So Baltimore, is 13-1. Jets drop to 6-8. Cleveland 4-9. Arizona 4-9. Cleveland goes to Arizona. They lose. Arizona wins 30-27. Seattle 8-5. Carolina 8-5. And Seattle goes into Pantherland, and they come back with a pelt as they win 30-20. 9-5 Seattle, 8-6 Carolina Panthers. New England 5-8 goes to Cincinnati. They better win that game. Denver, Kansas City. Kansas City wins 27-13. They're 9-5. Big game here. Chicago 7-6. Green Bay 8-5. And Chicago does it again. They go into cheese country. And they ate some cheese. They beat the Packers 28-12. Where's Sportsman Z? He probably left thinking they were done. They're now 8-6. The Packers are now 8-6. Unbelievable. Mitchell Trubisky, player of the game, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Tampa Bay and Detroit, last sim. Rams and Dallas. Dallas, oh my lord! The Rams go into the Lone Star State and defeat the Cowboys 28-20 to the disgust of Jerry Jones. Wow. But the Cowboys that's like a mulligan for them. They're still 11-3. Minnesota taking on the Chargers in San Diego, and they win 16-13, so they're 11-3. And they're battling for the best record in the NFC right now, so that's a bad loss at home. Jerry Jones is definitely going nuts. Miami at the Giants. Giants win 23-13. Jacksonville 8-5. Oakland 8-5. Playoff implications there. And Oakland wins at home 21-13. They're now 9-5. Jacksonville drops to 8-6. Atlanta at San Francisco. San Francisco wins 38-22. They're 9-5. Indianapolis, New Orleans. New Orleans crushes Indianapolis. They're 9-5. Buffalo 7-6 going to Pittsburgh. And Buffalo beats Pittsburgh. They're 8-6, so that's not good news if you're a Pats fan. You're going for hoping the Steelers would win. Steelers drop to 9-5. Philadelphia at Washington. Washington on the slide. They lose. Eagles starting to surge, but it's too late. They win 28-7. Washington now 7-7. The Eagles 6-8. Houston 7-6. Tennessee 6-7. Last gasp for the Titans, and they win. They needed that 42. They crushed Houston in Tennessee. So both teams are 7-7. Now the Patriots need a big win in Cincinnati. And they don't get a big win, but they get a win, and that's big enough. They struggle against the Bungles. They win 14-10. Gilmore, the MVP on defense, 9 tackles, 1 interceptions. 4 pass, maybe that's pass deflections, PD, and 1 forced fumble. Jameis Winston, 333 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. But those 333 yards only produced 14 points. His 1 touchdown pass was to Ryan Izzo. And the Patriots actually had a rushing touchdown. So they'll take the win any way they can get it. They're 6-8, so they're going to struggle to get to 500. All right. Woo. Tampa Bay 7-6. They need to win. They go to Detroit, winnable game, and they win. Tom Brady again. He's getting in the stride a bit now. He's turning back the hands of time a bit. Player of the game. I believe that's the 3rd time he's player of the game this year. 272, 3 touchdowns. So that's they're 8-6. So a big difference. Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay, they're 8-6. Jameis Winston goes to New England, they're 6-8. Not good, not good. All right, let's go to the standings. A few more weeks to play. So Buffalo looks like they're going to take the division. They're 8-6. New England and the Jets 6-8. New England is over the Jets based on their 2-0 record against the Jets. I believe that by head-to-head. So the Jets can't really win the division unless there's some sort of bizarro three-way tie and they go to something else. Baltimore has it in the North, 13-1. Pittsburgh 9-5. Jacksonville in the AFC South, 8-6. Tennessee 7-7. Houston 7-7. That's coming down the stretch. It's gonna be a slobber knocker. Kansas City and Oakland both 9-5 in the AFC West. In the NFC East, that was a bad loss for the Cowboys when it comes to home field advantage throughout the playoffs to lose at home to Buffalo. They're 11-3. Dallas, Washington 7-7. They're slip sliding away, as we like to say. In the NFC North, Minnesota 11-3. Chicago 8-6 as they beat the Packers, who are also 8-6. In the NFC South, New Orleans 9-5. Tampa Bay 8-6. Carolina 8-6. So Tampa Bay is over Carolina because they have beaten them twice. So that's good news if you're a Bucs fan. San Francisco 9-5. Seattle 9-5. San Francisco right now holds the lead because they beat Seattle head to head, but they'll be playing one more time. Back to the schedule. We go to week 16, 2 weeks to play. This is a huge game for New England as Buffalo comes into town. And Houston, Tampa Bay is a huge game for both teams. Playoff implications mostly. New England's last gasp. They have to win 2 and get a lot of help to win the division at 8-8. Rams, San Francisco. San Francisco wins. Whoa, they hold on at home. 30-27. Big win. 10-5. Robbie Gould kicked 5 field goals for the 49ers. Jacksonville needs this win here over Atlanta. Let's see if they get it. They do. They're 9-6 with a 33-24 victory over the Falcons. Oakland needs to win to keep pace with Kansas City. And they don't. The Chargers upset Oakland. So Oakland goes into San Diego and gets snuffed 24-19. They drop to 9-6. Carolina, Indianapolis, if you're a Tampa Bay fan, well, they have 2 wins over them, so it doesn't matter really. But you still get what you wanted. Carolina, bad loss on the road to a then 4-10 team, a 3-11 team, excuse me. The Colts win 38-18. They go to 4-11. Carolina drops to 8-7. Detroit, Denver. Denver wins 17-3. They're 7-8. Detroit 5-10. Baltimore, Cleveland. Baltimore 31-19. They're 14-1. They look to have home field with their record in the AFC. Cincinnati, Miami, I like Miami, and Miami wins 32-28. They're now 5-10. Cincinnati 1-14. Pittsburgh and the Jets. And the Jets win. Wow. That's a bad loss on the road for the Steelers. That's a game they're probably going to get a wild card with 9 wins, the way things look, but you never know. 28-12, the Jets, who are now 7-8. They still have hope to try to win, and they'll be rooting hard for the Patriots. Dallas 11-3, Philadelphia 6-8. Philadelphia would love to help ruin Dallas's season chance for the home top seed in the playoffs. And they do. Wow. So Dallas loses to Buffalo prior week at home, and now they lose to the Eagles on the road. And Jerry Jones is not happy. Eagles upset the Cowboys in Philadelphia 30-20. Dallas now 11-4, Philadelphia 7-8. Arizona, Seattle. In Seattle, Seattle wins by 10, 31-21. They're 10-5. Arizona's 5-10. Green Bay, Minnesota. Cowboys hoping the Vikings lose. They don't. They handle Green Bay quite easily in Northsmen country, 32-13. So Minnesota, with 1 week to play, has a game lead over the Cowboys as they're 12-3. Green Bay 8-7. Now, here's a game. Who would have thunk it a few weeks back? Kansas City taking on the Bears. Kansas City 9-5 going into the Windy City. And the Bears can't pull it off this time. Kansas City holds on 18-16. They keep pace. Actually, they surpassed the Raiders, who had that bad loss in San Diego. Kansas City now 10-5. Chicago 8-7. Giants at Washington. Washington wins. They've improved to one game over 500. 8-7 with a 19-14 victory over the G-Men. New Orleans, Tennessee. And if you're a Bucks fan, you're hoping Tennessee could pull it off, but they fall 10 points short as New Orleans goes into Music City Land and wins 45-35. So New Orleans now 10-5, Tennessee now 7-8. 1 week to play. Big game, Buffalo, New England. Can New England win? They do! New England still has life as Buffalo comes in with a chance to take the division title. And Bill Belichick, the Lord Sith he is, says, not on my watch right now and not in our house. New England crushes Buffalo 24-3. Jamie Collins, MVP, the defensive player with 11 tackles, 1 sack, 1 pass deflection, a forced fumble, and 1 reception, I believe. Wow. Jameis Winston was awful. 12 for 20. They ran the ball more. So it's quite interesting. They went to a running game against Buffalo. Jameis Winston, who's been throwing like a gazillion times, only throws the ball 23 times. 12 of 23, 125 yards, 3 touchdowns, but 2 picks. Sony Michel had 90 yards on 19 carries. The touchdown passes, 2 to Dorsett and 1 to Edelman. So the Patriots go into the final week with still a glimmer of hope. Now Tampa Bay taking on Houston in Tampa Bay. Houston 7-7. Playoff implications here. Oh, boy. That is a bad loss at home. Houston outguns Tampa Bay 41-37. Deshaun Watson, player of the game. 189 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and also had 2 rushing touchdowns. Had a 7-yard touchdown with 337 left in the game. So let's go to that box score. Brady, great game. Well, Brady, wow, his arm's going to be tired. He chucked it up 60 times, 37 completions, 438 yards. So Tom Brady trying his best to propel these Tampa Bay Bucks into the playoffs. 2 touchdowns, no picks. It's going to be interesting to see his final numbers. Excuse me. All right. So we go to the last week of the season. Let's go to the standings. New England 1 game behind Buffalo. Buffalo 8-7. New England 7-8. Jets are done. New England beat them twice. New England needs Buffalo to lose, and they need to win. And then we have to look at the tiebreakers. Baltimore is going to win the NFC North. They're at 14-1. Pittsburgh's 9-6. We'll take a quick look at the wild card. Jacksonville leads in the AFC South. They're 9-6. Houston 8-7. Tennessee 7-8. Kansas City leads the AFC West 10-5. Oakland 9-6. Denver 7-8. Dallas, another 2 bad losses in a row. They're now 11-4. Minnesota has the best record with a week to play at 12-3. Washington 8-7. I don't think they're going to get in with 8-7, but Chicago's 8-7 and Green Bay is 8-7. Chicago over Green Bay based on the divisional record 3-2 to 1-4. So Green Bay's divisional record not good. In the NFC South, the Saints 10-5. They look like they're going to win that division. Tampa Bay 8-7. They need to win to try to get in. I don't think 8-8 is going to get them in. And they're going to have to hope. I think if Tampa Bay wins, they're going to get in as a wild card. Because there's a lot of 8-7 teams. Carolina's 8-7. Then San Francisco's 10-5. And so is Seattle 10-5. So that's another wild card team. So one of these wild card teams is going to be one of these 8-7 teams who wins. So Tampa Bay, one more week, they got a shot here. As Appachatter says, Dave Gardner, how many times have you unsubbed, resubbed during this stream? That is a question only Mr. Gardner can answer. So let's look at the wild card. I forgot to do that. Wow. So Oakland and Pittsburgh, they got a good shot there. They're 9-6. Houston needs help. Denver, all these 7-8 teams need a lot of help. So it's really Oakland, Pittsburgh, and Houston. If Oakland and Pittsburgh win, they're in. In the NFC, Seattle looks to get in at 10-5 or either San Francisco. Okay? One of those two teams are getting in as a wild card. Then you have Chicago. Holy poop. Chicago over Tampa Bay and Washington based on the conference record 8-3, 7-4, and 4-7. My God, Sportsman Z, I wish he had stayed. Holy cow. If Chicago wins, they are in. Tampa Bay needs Chicago to lose, and Tampa Bay win, and they're in. So those are the games we're going to look at. Unbelievable. What a wild finish. We come to Week 17 in our NFL season 2019 replay. We traded Tom Brady to Tampa Bay in exchange for Jameis Winston. So Tom Brady's in Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston is in New England. Let's just look at the AF's Buffalo. I don't know. Maybe Buffalo's already wrapped it up, even if they go 8-8. We'll find out. Back to the schedule. Final week. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Baltimore wins. They go 15-1 with a 27-9 thumping in Baltimore of the Steelers. Steelers 9-7. Will that affect the playoffs for them? Jets, Buffalo. If Buffalo wins, they win the division. Buffalo loses! Holy cow, the Jets are 8-8. Buffalo's 8-8. There is still hope for the Patriots. Oh, wow, it could be a three-way tie. New Orleans, Carolina. New Orleans wins, so they're 11-5. They're going to take that division. Carolina's 8-8. Cleveland, Cincinnati, who cares? But we got to play it. And Cincinnati picks up their second win. They sweep the series, I believe. I believe their both wins have come against Cleveland. Oh my God, Cleveland 4-12, a horrific year, and they lose twice to the Bungles. As Bengals beat them 31-27. Washington, Dallas. Dallas wins, so they're 12-4. Washington 8-8. Oakland, Denver. Playoff implications there for Oakland. And Oakland, oh my Lord, that's a crushing loss. Denver wins 16-6. So I do believe Kansas City will win the division even if they lose because they're 10-5. So here's one. 8-7 Green Bay going into Detroit. They need to win. They've got hope now. And they lose. So the Packers finish 8-8. Detroit finishes at 6-10 with a 31-19 win over their divisional rivals, Green Bay Packers. Tennessee, Houston. Tennessee wins 27-6. Both teams finish at 8-8. Tannehill, another good game, 353, 3 touchdowns. Indianapolis, Jacksonville. Jacksonville, they win, they're in. And they lose. So they're 9-7. Wow, they controlled their own destiny, and Indianapolis goes in there. Jacoby Brissett crushes maybe the hopes of the Jacksonville Jaguars fans. Player of the game, 252 yards, and he rushed for 26 more yards. Not really, his quarterback rating was only 62, but they won the game. Chargers, Kansas City. Kansas City, I believe, is already in, and they're going to go in with an explanation point. They beat the Chargers 28-17. Kansas City 11-5. San Diego 6-10. Arizona, Rams, who cares? We play it out. Rams 7-9. Final record, they win 37-21. Arizona 5-11. Chicago, Minnesota. This is a big game here. I believe if the Bears win, they are in. I believe Tampa Bay wants Minnesota to win. Minnesota wins, they clinch home field advantage at 13-3. Remember, Dallas has won at 12-4, so a big game here. And Minnesota finally snaps the Bears' winning streak, and that's good news if you're a Bucs fan. Minnesota beats the Bears in Minnesota, in Viking land, 27-22. Kirk Cousins threw for 336 yards and 3 touchdowns. Whew. Philadelphia and New York. And the Eagles will finish 8-8 with a 27-21 win over the G-Men. The Giants finish 5-11. Miami at New England, next to last game. Atlanta at Tampa Bay, the last game. Here's a big game here. 10-5 San Francisco, 10-5 Seattle. And just like in real life, it comes down to this last game for these teams. The winner wins the division title. The loser is a wild card. And San Francisco cannot pull it off in Seattle. Seattle holds on by their hair, their chinny chin chin, 29-28. So Seattle will win the division. Russell Wilson, player of the game, 318 yards and 3 touchdowns. 21-yard touchdown pass to Disley with only a minute 57 left in the game. So both teams make the playoffs, but San Francisco will go as a wild card. They'll be on the road. All right. New England, 7-8. Remember, Buffalo was beaten by the Jets. Buffalo and the Jets are 8-8. New England, if they win, they'll be 8-8. And New England wins! Sony Michel, player of the game, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. 3-way tie in the AFC East. We'll break it down in a moment. I don't know who wins the division. I honestly don't. In a 3-way tie, the Patriots might just win this division at 8-8. Unbelievable. Jameis Winston. And you know what? Bill Belichick just wants to get there. He wants to get to the dance, and then we'll see how the dance goes. But I don't know if they made it. But 8-8 when they thought they were dead. So the Jets 8-8, Buffalo 8-8, and New England 8-8. This has been wild, folks. Wild. Now it comes down to this. Unbelievable. Both teams come down to this. The Patriots have won. They might win the division in a 3-way tie. I think they do, but I'm not sure. Atlanta, 4-11, could crush the hope of the TB12-led Bucks and Tom Brady, who are 8-7. I believe 9-7 will put the Buccaneers into the playoffs. Oh, my God. Atlanta comes into Tampa Bay. If Tampa Bay had won because Chicago lost, they would have went to the playoffs. But they can't do it. Matty Ryan throws for 310 yards and 3 touchdowns. Atlanta improves their record to end the season at 5-11 as Bucks fans are puking in their seats. They defeat the Bucks 27-24. So, the trade, how did the teams work out? They're both 8-8. So I believe Tom Brady improved the Bucks by 1 game. Because didn't they finish 7-9? And Jameis Winston was just a train wreck for the Patriots as they were 8-8. Too many interceptions. So that's it, folks. Now, let's go to the standings. New England wins the division. New England wins the 3-way tie. Unfreaking believable. New England does it. The Patriots and the Lord Sith, Bill Belichick, puts the whammy on the Jets and Buffalo. Buffalo, all they had to do was win, baby. They win in Dallas, but yet they pooped the bed. If they won in New England, they win the division. If they beat the Jets at home, they win the division, and they lost both games. New England 8-8, Jets 8-8, Buffalo 8-8. New England wins the division over the Jets and Buffalo based on head-to-head record 3-1 against 2-2 and 1-3. The Patriots, in a down season, a 500 season, still get it done, and they still win the division, and still everyone hates them. All right, Baltimore easily wins their division at 15-1. Tennessee. Now, okay, well, let's get to Tampa Bay finished second at 8-8, but now let's get to the playoffs. All right, we know the division winners. We got the real stats right here. I forgot they do that. All right, so let's see what Tampa Bay 8-8. They were 7-9, so Tom Brady improved them by 1 game. 1 game. They scored less points but they gave up less points. So again, the management of the game, you can see the defense gave up far less points because they gave up 449 points in reality, but only 375. They scored a lot less too, but you can see the defense isn't always there. Randy Luxembourg, Winston is on a roller coaster ride. He sure is. All right, so now that was pretty fun, wasn't it? I forgot how to get to the playoffs now. Let's go to schedule again. And let's create playoffs. I think Tampa Bay, let's go back to the standings again. Wild card. Oh, there it is. Duh. Wild card. Okay, so here are your division winners. Baltimore at 15-1. Kansas City at 11-5. Jacksonville 9-7 and New England 8-8. Wild card standings. Oakland at 9-7 and Pittsburgh 9-7. So those are the teams that made the playoffs. Oakland and Pittsburgh. Now we go to the NFC. Your division winners, Minnesota, Dallas, Minnesota with the best record. Dallas pooped the bed at the end. Some bad losses. Seattle and New Orleans. Wild card teams, San Francisco and Chicago. Tampa Bay, my God, all they had to do was beat Atlanta, and they couldn't. They lost to Atlanta. The fans are puking in their seats. They had it. Tampa Bay, once Chicago lost, they had their destiny in their own hands. They had the whole world in their hands. They had their whole destiny football world in their hands. But they couldn't do anything with it. They lost. A crushing defeat. Tampa Bay missed the playoffs. Chicago over Tampa Bay and Philadelphia based on conference record, 8-4. Tampa Bay 7-5. And the surging Eagles 6-6. Wow. Was that fun or what? Let's sim the playoffs. The Patriots make the playoffs at 8-8, and Tampa Bay doesn't at 8-8. So Jameis Winston, not so good, but he made the playoffs. The Lord Sith comes through, Bill Belichick. All right, let's go to the schedule, and let's do the playoffs, folks. Create the playoffs. We'll just sim them. Just create. This should be set up the exact right way. Create. All right, so it's wild card week, round 1. Pittsburgh at Jacksonville. And Pittsburgh wins. The 6th seed goes into the 3 seed, and they beat them 17-12. Quickly go to the box score. Rudolph, his nose not so bright, but bright enough to win. 19 of 32, 140 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. And they went with Nick Foles. So they changed quarterbacks. Jacksonville loses. Pittsburgh rushed for a decent amount of yards. They had 1 rushing touchdown. So that's that. So Pittsburgh wins 17-12. Oakland at New England would be oh wow. Oakland with the better record has to go into New England, and you know what that is, the tuck game. But now can Jameis Winston win a playoff game with the Patriots? What will Bill Belichick have up his sleeve? Chicago goes into Seattle. We'll keep that next to last for Sportsman Z. I wish you're still watching. Wow, what a comeback for the Bears. San Francisco goes to New Orleans, and New Orleans beats Jimmy G and the 49ers 26-14. Chicago at Seattle, and Chicago can't do it. They lose by 8. Seattle advances 28-20. Oakland, the better record, goes into New England. It's 28 degrees, clear skies, wind 6 miles per hour. And the Patriots pull off the upset. The Patriots win 37-23, sticking it to John Gruden and the Raiders one more time, and that's for 1976. Roughing the passer on Sugar Bear Hamilton. Bull poop. Wow, Jameis Winston. Tom Brady, who? Jameis Winston throws for 352 yards and a touchdown. Let's see how many picks. And no picks. Winston chucked it up 42 times, completing 25 passes. A touchdown to Edelman. The Patriots rushed for 3 touchdowns. Sony Michel Burkhart and White all had rushing touchdowns. So the Patriots win 37-23. They advance in the playoffs. This is crazy, folks. Holy cow. And let's look at the brackets. And those are the brackets. So it's going to be New England at Kansas City, Pittsburgh at Baltimore, Seattle at Dallas, New Orleans at Minnesota. Oh boy. Let's go to the second week of the playoffs. We'll keep New England at Kansas City for the last game. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Baltimore crushes them, so they still only have one loss on the year. Pittsburgh not even competitive. Pittsburgh is mashed. They are the monster mashed. Baltimore beats them 34-7. Seattle at Dallas. This could be an upset. Dallas really wasn't playing strong at the end of the year. But Dallas gets back on track. Jimmy Jones is a happy camper again. Dallas could be traveling to Minnesota, unless New Orleans upsets Minnesota. In that case, the championship game will be in the Lone Star State. So Seattle gets bludgeoned by the Cowboys 31-19. They go home. The Cowboys advance. New Orleans at Minnesota. If Minnesota loses, what a disappointing year. And Minnesota is upset at home. New Orleans wins 19-11. So the number one seed goes poof into the night. And now the Patriots go to Kansas City. Jameis Winston versus Patrick Mahomes. Can Bill Belichick do it again? The Patriots do it again! Unbelievable! Jameis Winston, Tom Brady, who? Jameis Winston, 285 yards, 3 touchdowns. Unbelievable! The Patriots go in and beat the 2 seed Kansas City Chiefs 34-24. They have a date with destiny in Baltimore against the Ravens. This is absolutely phenomenal. Wow! Let's go to the box score. Jameis Winston, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Oh boy. But he wins. And the Patriots, the unlikely 8-8 Patriots, who somehow just stuck in there like Vito Antuofermo, that boxer, just a tough team. They stick it out, and now they're going to the AFC Championship against the heavily favored Baltimore Ravens, but they don't care. Bill Belichick, all he wanted to do was get to the dance, and you know, dun 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 dun, the Lord Sith will do it one more time. That's my Bill Belichick imitation. All right, here we go. Unfreaking believable. Let's look at the brackets. New England, the 4 seed, goes to Baltimore, the 1 seed. Who would have thunk the 8-8 Patriots would be playing in the AFC Championship against the Baltimore Ravens? Unbelievable. As Appa Chatter says, Cousins being Cousins. You are right. And then New Orleans upsets Minnesota to the joy of Cowboys fans. So New Orleans is going to Dallas. That's your championship matchup. AFC, New England at Baltimore. NFC, New Orleans at Dallas. Conference championship. The first game will be the Patriots and Baltimore, but we're going to play the Saints and the Cowboys first. Who's going to the Super Bowl? The Cowboys, in a close one, defeat the Saints. They're heading to the Super Bowl to the joy of Jerry Jones. Dak Prescott, the NFC Conference Championship MVP, 328 yards and 3 touchdowns. And let's look at the box score there. Breeze, 35 of 46, 253, a touchdown, but a pick. Prescott, 328, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Elliott rushed for 109 yards on 15 carries and a touchdown. Leading receiver, Jarwin with 79. He had a touchdown. Cooper had a touchdown with 75 yards, 6 receptions, 4 receptions. You can see it right here. We'll keep it up. Kamara, leading rusher for the Saints, 71 yards on 10 carries. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. 28-21. The Saints try to mount a furious comeback, but they fall a touchdown short. So the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. Will it be the one-loss Ravens or the surging New England Patriots who won the division in a three-way 8-8 tie? Come on, Bill. Can you do it again? The Patriots do it again! Unbelievable! Jameis Winston pumping his fist in air in victory. They go into Baltimore. He predicted a victory. The defense shuts down the Ravens. The Patriots win 24-12. The Patriots have a little bravado with Jameis Winston. Unbelievable. Winston, player of the game, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, quarterback rating of a 113. The Patriots win their last 4 games. They win to go 8-8, and they get the 3-way tie, and they win the division. They win the wild card against Oakland in New England. Oakland the better record. They go to Kansas City. They beat Kansas City. Now they go to Baltimore, and they win 24-12. It will be the Patriots versus the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Jameis Winston on a roll. Through 30 times, the Patriots rushing the ball slightly better. He completed 19 for 262, 2 touchdowns. Touchdown receptions, Dorsett and Edelman both had 5 receptions. Dorsett 96 yards, Edelman 91 yards. And it seems that Winston does like to go to Ryan Izzo, something that Tom Brady never did. He was never, well, Izzo wasn't on the field a lot, but no. So, unbelievable. The Patriots come out of nowhere. Tom Brady, who? Again, this is all for fun, but we're having a good time with this. So it's going to be Jameis Winston, the New England Patriots, along with the Lord Sith, Bill Belichick, taking on the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott and their Lord Sith, Jerry Jones. It's a battle of the Siths. And here it is. The 4 seed out of the AFC, New England Patriots. They were the 4 seed. They were the worst record in the playoffs, but because they won the division at 8-8, they're the 4 seed. Dallas, the second best record in the NFC, they got a lot of help when the Saints beat the Vikings, so they hosted the championship game. They beat the Saints, so that's the Super Bowl. New England versus Dallas, and it's going to be mega ratings on the TV. As Appachatter says, GOAT Winston. Well, people have forgot about Tom Brady right now in New England. Here we go. And join us next week for the Super Bowl championship game. No, I'm kidding. All right, we're gonna sim it. I'd like to show it, but we're not. That takes too long. We're 2 hours and 12 minutes into this, I think, really fun project. So we're just gonna do a quick sim. Can the Patriots pull it off in the Super Bowl? What says you, the chat? Will the Patriots win? We will think about it a minute. Who's going to win this game? New England or Dallas? Who's going to win? Dallas heavy favorites. No one thinks New England can pull off a 4th straight win. Remember, 5th straight win. What am I saying? They won last game of the year to finish 8-8, and they win the 3-way tie for the division with the Buffalo Bills and the Jets. They win wild card week against Oakland. They go to Kansas City and win, and then they go into Baltimore against the heavily favored Ravens who only lost 1 game, and they spanked them 24-12. So now it's the Patriots versus the Cowboys. All right, we're going to sim it. No one's brave enough to answer the question, who will win? We'll find out. And Dallas, in shades of the Chicago Bears Super Bowl against the Patriots, the Patriots' run comes to a miserable, brutal end. The Cowboys win the Super Bowl 31-9, but who would have thunk the Pats would have been there? MVP Dak Prescott, 275 yards, a touchdown, and also a rushing touchdown. Jerry Jones, his first Super Bowl trophy since Barry Switzer, and prior to that, Jimmy Johnson. So the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. The 2 seed out of the NFC beats the 4 seed New England Patriots out of the AFC. I tip my cap to the Cowboys. Dak Prescott is the MVP. Jerry Jones is a happy Lord Sith as he beats the other Lord Sith, Bill Belichick. And good news is Robert Kraft was not arrested at any massage parlor. So, after all that, the Patriots made the Super Bowl but lose to the Cowboys. Oh, Dave Gardner, 31-10. You were close. He says he was going to, I trust him. He says he was going to say 31-10. I didn't think they were going to pull that. It was a wild ride, though. That was fun. Let's go to the box score. Winston was shut down. He threw 53 times. They couldn't get any run game going. You can see they rushed for, what's that? That's 14, 34, 41 yards. They only rushed for 41 yards. Winston threw 53 times, completing 27 for 210 yards. No touchdowns, 2 picks. So their offense could not get going against the new doomsday defense of the Cowboys. Prescott threw 32 times, completed 18, 275, a touchdown and a pick. Patriots scored first, a 48-yard field goal. They actually had 3 field goals by Folk, 48, 50, and 49. Other than that, Dallas bludgeoned the bejesus out of them. Elliott rushed for 52 yards and a touchdown. Prescott rushed for 46 yards and a touchdown. Pollard rushed for 10 yards and a touchdown. Gallup had a touchdown reception. So the Cowboys win. The Cowboys win. They are Super Bowl champs. Now, one last thing. I got to remember how to do this because when you do the playoffs, let's go to teams quickly. Okay. I don't know if this is just the playoff team. Yeah, see, it's just the playoff rosters. Let's go New England. Rosters. Winston. No, those are just the numeric ratings. Okay. Leaders. Yeah, this is just the playoffs. I have to go back. Let's go schedule. Close. Existing season. Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay. So now let's go to stats. And let's go to team conference. Player, team offense. Passing. Dallas. Player. Passing. And Jameis Winston. Completed 59.4% of his passes, 32 touchdowns, 26 interceptions. Quarterback rating 79. Completed 380, 626 attempts. Oh no, that was his rating, 79. I'm sorry. Completion percentage 60.7. What was that other one I looked by accident? Jameis Winston. Oh, 50. What? Why is that different than that? Oh, this is, and then he threw for 5,109 yards. In actuality, 33 touchdowns, 30 picks. So 1 less touchdown and 4 less picks. And he threw, I'm sorry, for 4,000. Okay, these are his sim numbers. So his percentage was down a bit, slightly. He threw for less yards. He threw for 1 less touchdown and 4 less interceptions. Let's see what Tom Brady did. Let's find Brady. So again, let's just do this again. Jameis Winston in the sim completed 59.4% of his passes, threw for 4,225 yards, 32 touchdowns, 26 interceptions, quarterback rating 79. In actuality, 60% completion, 5,109 yards, 33 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, quarterback rating 84. But he made it to the Super Bowl with the Patriots. And now let's find Tom Brady. Brady. Here's Tom Brady. Tom Brady, well, you know what? He threw for 4,100 yards. completion percentage, 59.2, eerily similar, right, to what Winston did with the Patriots, as they both finished 8-8, but 8-8 got the Patriots in the playoffs with a three-way tie. That was wild. That was so much fun to watch, I think. 27 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Quarterback rating, 87.5. In actuality, his percentage of completion, I want to make sure I'm on the right one. I hate going across the... Where is Brady? Did I move? I just had it. Now I lost it. Oh, here it is. Okay. 59.2, 4,100 yards. Touchdowns, I knew that was 15-8. Okay, because by accident I went down to Jared Goff's. So Brady, 15 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, quarterback rating 82. In actuality, 60.8, so not a big difference. He threw for slightly more yards in the sim because he threw for 4,057, 24 touchdowns, and 8 picks. Very similar. But the Lord Sith, Bill Belichick, got the Patriots to the Super Bowl. Brady, a horrific loss in the last week of the season. They missed the playoffs. All right, so that is it, my friends. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Take care. Till next time, health and happiness. Little fun project. It's been on my mind. I said, how can I do this project? I knew I could do it with 2nd and 10 football, a really fun game. So, hope you had fun. If you liked it, hit the like button, share all that good stuff. If not, oh well, I had fun. And again, it was a hypothetical. Brady to Tampa Bay last year, Winston to the Patriots. So, we could do more of these in the future. It was so easy to trade the players. I was like, oh my God, I could do it with anybody. So, all right, thank you very much. Stay safe, be smart. God bless. I love you all. Health and happiness. Till next time, you know what's coming, folks. Peace! The Patriots make it to the Super Bowl but lose to the Cowboys, while Tampa Bay, if they had won in their last week, would have made the playoffs, but they get upset at home by the Falcons. And TB12 doesn't go to the playoffs.